Do you ever get that thing where you walk into a room and you totally forget why you've gone in there? You just kind of go, what am I meant to be? Do you ever get that? What? Are you cat people or dog people? What would you say, cat people or dog people? Because to me, it all tastes the fucking same. People of restricted height. Some of them don't mind being called midgets, but they hate being called dwarves. Some of them find a dwarf, hate being called a midget. So what are you going to do? What I do is I call them all Oompa Loompas. None of the little fuckers like that, do they? Are there any midgets in? I mean, I haven't seen any, but then that's part of their charm. There could be. I don't look down on dwarves. That's probably gone over their heads. How could I stoop so low? Life's too short. And just because you're a midget doesn't make you any less of a person. Truth be told, I fucking love dwarves. But I never tell them that I love them because I don't want them to get big-headed. A lot of people say women get more attractive after a couple of drinks, but I think they lose a lot of their charm vomiting and pissing in the street. Welcome to Glasgow. They just put speed bumps outside my local school. Wow, I'm pretty sure it's a speed bump. I'm 90% sure it was a speed bump. With a satchel. I make my own vegetables. I've got a hammer. Is it wrong, Glasgow? You be the judge. Is it wrong to call the disabled seating area of a theatre the Cabbage Patch? Is that wrong? Double amputees, you got to hand it to them. But they will drop it. If I lost both my arms, I'd probably just shrug it off. I was doing a gig on this tour. I was telling that joke, and there was a guy sitting where you're sitting, right down the front there, missing both his arms. And he laughed at that joke, but then at the end I noticed he wasn't applauding. You know that moment when a girl locks eyes with you across a crowded room and says, "Yes, Your Honour, that's the one." I saw a headline in the paper, it said, "Rapist strikes." I thought, what does he want, better pay conditions? He's outdoors in the park, he's on flexi time. Talk about your job satisfaction. What have we got, unionised sex offenders now? What do we want? Get in the van. When do we want it? Get in the van. Women ask weird questions. Well, the women in my life have always asked weird questions. My girlfriend said to me recently, she said, "Which of my friends do you think is prettiest?" Well, that's what she said. What I heard was, "I fancy a fight." I don't know much about women, but I know there is no correct answer to the question, "Which of my friends do you think is prettiest?" There's nothing I can say that she'll go, "Oh, good." Yeah. And there's going to be trouble, so I thought, well, I might as well be hung for a sheep as a lamb. So when she asked, "Which of my friends do you think is prettiest?" I said, "Well, Karen is pretty, but Susan does that thing with her tongue." Talking during sex, Glasgow. Where do you stand on talking during sex? I think there should be very strict rules on talking during sex. Rule number 1, don't. Rule number 2, shh. And those are the rules. My girlfriend talks during sex. I don't mean sexy, dirty, filthy talk. I'd love that. That'd be awesome. No. She says the most mundane shit you've heard in your life, mid-coitus. That means whilst fucking. The thing you do for chips. I'll give you an example, okay? So a couple of weeks ago, we were making love. I'd made her do it love. We were about halfway through. Well, we were nearly finished, truth be told, but she didn't know that. I was actually... And she said, "Where did I leave my keys?" I said, "Well, they're not in your vagina. I've had a good route round. I was sure I would have noticed something. I'll check your bum." She said, you will not. It's no one's birthday. So I've come up with a way of dealing with this, okay? I could just say to her, could you not say mundane things during sex because it sort of kills the mood for me, sort of ruins it, kills the moment. I could just say that, but that would be literally no fun at all. So what I'm doing is whatever she says to me, no matter how mundane, whatever she says to me during sex, I try and make it sexy. Set myself that challenge. It's a lot of fun. I'll give you an example. She said to me a couple of weeks ago, she said, the recycling's coming tomorrow. Well, more accurately, she said, the recycling's coming tomorrow. So I said, the recycling's not the only thing coming tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to separate your paper and plastic. Doesn't really mean anything. That's my sexy voice, by the way. I've kind of gone for a 1970s blaxploitation New York City voice. Because then you can say things like, I'm coming. If I just use my voice, I've just got to go, I've arrived. Has anyone heard anything more mundane than that during sex? What's the most mundane thing? Hurry up. Hurry up. What was that? These chips are cold. Oh, bless. Any others? Sorry, what was that one there? Rather cold today. Cold today. Aye. That's like small talk at a bus station. I suppose we're in Glasgow. It could well have happened at a bus station. I got the little... Oh, yes. Any others? Is it in yet? So have you said to this boy here, there's a man covering his eyes now with a... Oh, God, she hasn't. That's not your boyfriend. I'm sure you don't limit yourself to one. But you've said to a man, is it in yet? But you've said that to him, you've looked a man in the eyes and gone, is it in yet? Well, you don't want to look down and check and you've got no feeling in your vagina whatsoever. So hang on, just make eye contact with me. Without looking down, can you tell if there's a cock in you now? What was your one? My gran's in hospital. You were fucking someone and they said to you, my gran's in hospital. Oh yeah, baby, tell it like it is. Yeah, I'm gonna break your hips. Any other mundane things during sex?
There's the ice cream van.
There's the ice cream van. Did you start going out with him when you were quite a lot younger? Oh, there's the ice cream van. Shh, 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 shh. Most natural thing in the world. I had one the other week. A guy came in with his wife. They'd been married like 30 years. And she had said to him, and she'd said it, okay? She said to him, during sex, she said, now I've got your full attention, let's talk about those curtains. I wish I'd been him, I would have gone, curtains look fine. Another one that comes up a lot, you're boring me. Which my response would be, yes, I am. I don't know what this says about us as a nation, but one that comes up all the time from audiences is change channels. Are we having sex with the television on, people? I think if someone said change channels to me, I would know they were talking about the television, but I would be very tempted to go, thanks very much. I don't mind if I do. Of course, the classic is, ceiling needs doing. Hopefully not in that voice. Ceiling needs doing. To which my response would be, yeah, I'm going to fill your crack. Gentlemen, if you're in a long-term relationship, you'll be familiar with this conversation. It's the conversation that happens 5 minutes after you think you've gone to sleep. You know the one I mean? TV's off, lights are off, books are down, everyone's washed their teeth, you're in bed, night, night, love you, night, night. 5 minutes after that, just as you're drifting off into sleep, the most insecure voice you've ever heard in your life, out of the darkness, if we broke up, would we still be friends? I said, what do you mean, still? I bought my girlfriend some lingerie. It was her birthday, and she'd hinted at the stuff she wanted. So I went to, I think it was Agent Provocateur, for these fancy kind of set of pants and bra and stuff. Well, quite right. So she was quite impressed. She opened it up on her birthday morning. She was really kind of into it, and she went, oh, these are beautiful, darling. But they're not my size. I said, don't worry, I've had a chat with a woman in the shop, and she says, you can have an operation. I knew I had to lose some weight in the last year. It's a very sad day for any man when his girlfriend suggests he comes on his own tits. You ever done that? Have you ever mixed up a fat person and a pregnant person? It's embarrassing, isn't it? Especially if it's a fella. I had a fat girl come up to me recently after a gig. Well, I say a fat girl. She was either fat or 18 months pregnant. She was big. Bubbly, you might say. Not with an effervescent personality that filled a room, no, shaped like a bubble. She was a comfort eater. I don't mean she was eating for emotional comfort, she was eating till she was comfortable to sit on. She wasn't a size 0, she was a shape 0. Anyway, she came up to me after that. Well, she pretty much surrounded me. And she said, you're not meant to use the term fat. I said, you're not meant to eat cake for breakfast. You're not meant to deep fry Mars bars. And gravy isn't an energy drink. And if I can't say fat, because I wasn't using fat in a judgmental way, I was just purely being descriptive on stage, I was using the word fat. Apparently I can't use the word fat now. If I can't say fat, what term does she prefer? Chunky monkey wobble slob? Fatty boom batty? Or blubbernaut? And if you're offended by any of those terms, how about a salad? I'll tell you what, I'm a bit, not distressed at, but a little bit upset. The term real woman. I used to really like the term real woman. It meant a voluptuous, fuller-figured, curvy, beautiful, buxom, plump lady. You would say she's a real woman. It doesn't mean that anymore, does it? Real woman is now a euphemism for chunky monkey wobble slob. You say she's a real woman when you mean she's a really fat woman. She's dangerously close to being two women. Have you ever fucked a girl so fat you think it might count as a threesome? And I tell you when you know you're with a fat lass, when you find yourself in the throes of passion thinking, is that boob or arm? I'll give it a lick just to be sure.